Man, I'm simultaneously incredibly excited for Mortal Kombat 2, but also still devastatingly disappointed because it ended up getting pushed off for absolutely silly reasons. Like, there's no reason, and with the absolute lack of competition, with everything either bombing or just simply not coming out right now, this Friday, what is scheduled to be this Friday, should have been the release date for Mortal Kombat 2, and there could have been reason for people to go to the theaters. But no, it ended up getting delayed to May of next year because Warner Brothers and their infinite intelligence, I would imagine, and we're obviously going to get into this as Mortal Kombat 2 director on why the movie's release date was delayed. I would have to think that it was as simple as Warner Brothers looking at it and going, we had a successful video game movie come out in May of 2025. Why can't we just have one again in May of 2026? And from what I'm hearing out there, it's not too far of a stretch to make that connection. But let's take a look. Director Simon McQuaid discussed the reason behind Mortal Kombat 2's release date delay. He also shared how the sequel expands on the original film's tone, scope, and action while setting the stage for the franchise's next chapter. At New York Comic Con this past couple of weeks, I think so. Because, yeah, just over the past week, we did a video on the comments from George R.R. Martin about how he'd literally rather be cutting his lawn with a pair of scissors than working on Winds of Winter. But director Simon McQuaid announced Mortal Kombat 2's release on May 16th, 2026 rather. We're not going a decade in the past. Holy wow, it just hit me that 2016 is a decade in the past. He explained the shift occurs now because the first film's success turned the sequel into a massive summer blockbuster. Really? Because I know it did well, all things considered, even though it was, in fact, burdened with the day-and-date release strategy back in 2021 by putting it on HBO Max as well as having a theatrical run. It ended up performing admirably, but it definitely got kneecapped by that interesting release schedule that Warner Brothers would not return to. But also, you have to know that you're adapting one of the most popular video game franchises in history. So, okay, every time people have seen this movie, it's gained momentum. Are you talking about the sequel or the first one? Because while there is good stuff in the first one that is leading me to be excited for the follow-up, it's quite a lot of bad in the first one as well. But okay, we created a massive summer blockbuster, so I think we should all be proud of the fact that Mortal Kombat 2 and the franchise itself is going to kick off next year. Well, next year's summer movie season, obviously. He described the delay as being a result of being a victim of our own success. Screenwriter Jeremy Slater confirmed, that Warner Brothers and New Line have plans for the future, but we will get to that. McQuaid says that the sequel builds on the tone of the first film's opening sequence, stating, we felt that we just scratched the surface. Oh, are you talking about the showdown between Sub-Zero and Scorpion? Yeah, that was fucking boss, by the way. Just as a sheer action spectacle, it was the best part of the entire movie, only rivaled by the ending battle, but that one ended up getting a little too much Cole Young in it. Boo. So there was so much to Mortal Kombat, to the lore. Oh yes, so much to work with that I thought we could just expand everything onto an even greater scale. Yeah, exactly. So you don't need to put in your stupid OC whose superpower is literal plot armor. And that's so wild, right? Like the way that they want to say that the first movie was such a big success. Why didn't Cole Young make it into Mortal Kombat 1? I'd imagine maybe there were plans to do that, but because that game failed so spectacularly, that eventual DLC ended up getting scrapped. It's so wild that, yeah, you don't have an active Mortal Kombat game at the time that your movie comes out. Fucking strange, man. That's Warner Brother Gaming for you. But yes, some good news here. Mortal Kombat 2 to have twice as many fight scenes as the first movie. Because here's the thing, man. While I'm always going to champion character development, good dialogue over everything else when it comes to films, in the case of Mortal Kombat, I mean, you kind of know what you're in for. There can still, of course, be some very good character development with your action scenes. That is, of course, a vehicle to be used in order to, progress the story. But you just kind of want spectacle sometimes, and that's with the first movie, with some of the fight sequences and some of the, action scenes in general, like when Jax loses his arms and the cool visuals that are there with Sub-Zero freezing the entire building and then his arms as well. Like, that was very interesting, very neat. And so to see more of that and less of the teenage angst of Cole Young, I'm kind of down with that for a trade-off. McQuaid stated that Mortal Kombat 2 will feature twice as many fights as the first film. He explained that the tournament serves as a framework for intersecting storylines. All of our characters, their journeys, have to go through the tournament. Well, yeah, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. That kind of makes sense. We wanted to do that in a way that was visually massive, interesting, promising, but the variety that Mortal Kombat always has. Slater noted that the sequel avoids a predictable structure. A lot of the traditional fighting tournament movies, there's a fight and then you can go to the bathroom. We didn't want that structure. Yeah, because you haven't really set up the champion, quote-unquote champion of Mortal Kombat, as somebody to pay attention to. Like, Liu Kang is there, he's in the movie, and he's going to be in the sequel. He just hasn't really been set up as the main character of Mortal Kombat. It's a lot more, the focus of the sequel is obviously going to be on Johnny Cage. You've, of course, got that lingering problem with, Cole Young in the background. And because we just recently got a new teaser, and some people are a little bit concerned about what's going on here because, okay, you got Shao Kahn, who's looking fucking dope, by the way. I really like that mask. So much better than Annihilation, but then again, I could draw a mask with some construction paper and it just, by default be better than anything in Annihilation. But because of the unpredictability that McQuaid is promising, you got some stuff like this where you got potentially Kitana taking down Shao Kahn. Now, I heard a lot of people talk about this and it's like, oh my god, oh no, she's going to be the one to kill. Nah, man. This is just showing right here, and I can imagine this would potentially be the moment where Shao Kahn gets his mask split, and you see more of his, I forget, because he's a hybrid of something, I forget his race. But you really see who he is, and this could potentially be a big team-up battle. Or, depending on what type of lore they're trying to lean into, he ends up, well, killing off his stepdaughter. Spoiler, sort of. But yeah, man, this teaser, and because it's Warner Brothers, I can't quite play it for you. There's a lot of action that's in there, and it's a lot of the cast that's out here. But you got goofy-ass Cole Young, Kung Lao, and Karl Urban, all talking about what it means to be a part of Mortal Kombat, what it means to be telling that story, and what makes it great. And they aren't just saying generic shit. They're making specific references. They're saying, fatalities, flawless victories. They are using the catchphrases, and of course, that is what it is. But it really seems like something that the cast is taken seriously. And that's, as a Mortal Kombat fan, that's the best that you can really hope for. And it's interesting, right? Because just simply going back to the statements of McQuaid here saying that, yeah, we really made a massive summer blockbuster based on the success of the first film, which leads us to an interesting development as Mortal Kombat 3 has been greenlit even before Mortal Kombat 2 comes out into the theaters. So I guess they have that much faith in the film. And as as a Mortal Kombat fan who knows quite a bit about the lore, like, what are you going to be setting up at the end? Are we going into the Shinnok stuff? Because that could be cool. Anyways, Mortal Kombat 3, stylized as Mortal Kombat 3, has now been greenlit at Warner Brothers and New Line, according to the screenwriter. Mortal Kombat film series is rather new, starting in 2021. Well, this iteration, obviously, because about a month or so ago, the original 1995 movie just turned, as you can guess, 30 years old. And that first one, there's still a lot of good in that one. I like it quite a bit. It's cheesy, it's campy. When it comes to video game adaptations, it's right up there with some of the best of them. I'm not even joking. But yes, the newest entry, Mortal Kombat 2, is currently in post-production, having been delayed to May 15th. I thought it was May 16th. Anyways, 2026. However, it seems the reception from the huge Red Band trailer was enough. Yeah, because that was a good trailer, man. I got hit for that trailer doing a reaction to it, but it was well worth it. Fuck it. To get another entry going before the sequel hits theaters. Yes, so Mortal Kombat 3 movie has already been confirmed, with Jeremy Slater writing the script. Jeremy Slater, screenwriter for Mortal Kombat 2, announced at New York Comic Con that Mortal Kombat 3 is officially in the works. And yeah, if it follows the lineage of the video games, normally Mortal Kombat 3, that would be the best one. Furthermore, exclusive news from Deadline confirms that New Line and Warner Brothers will return to distribute and produce the films. As the sequel isn't out, no story details or casting has been confirmed. Yeah, because they don't really want to spoil who ends up getting killed off in the tournament and exactly what direction they want to go moving forward. Like, if you know some of the lore, you're kind of going to know who's going to be, sticking around for a theoretical Mortal Kombat 3, but then again, Cole Young doesn't exist, and my hope is that he gets killed off in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But anyways, even more so, there's no release date for the film, in the writing stages. Well, yeah, exactly. At the Comic-Con panel, Jeremy Slater stood with the cast and crew of Mortal Kombat, like Karl Urban and Bald Jade, Tati Gabriel, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet's Own. As he was telling the audience about Mortal Kombat 2, he revealed the third entry's existence. He says, "Our friends at New Line and Warner Brothers are so happy with this movie. They're so excited that they are convinced that there is a giant fan base waiting for it, and they have already hired me to start writing the next installment of Mortal Kombat." Pretty good sign when Mortal Kombat 3 is greenlit before MK2 is even out. With the delay from October 2025 to May 2026 is a big leap. It seems Warner Brothers is happy with the film enough to do another. The original Mortal Kombat film did quite well at the box office, so perhaps we can see the series get another lease on film life. And honestly, I hope so, because a lot of the casting is in fact quite good. I really like Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. The guy that they got for Scorpion, from Shogun, is fucking awesome. The storylines that they can do with a nude Cybot and potentially the Lin Kuei and the different robot initiatives with Cyrax and Sector, like all of that stuff could be explored in further entries. There is a lot of lore to mine, and if they do a good job with it, I will be there to see it. I'm genuinely excited for MK2 when it comes out in May of next year, and hopefully it's good enough to warrant MK3, and it's not just going to be another slop product. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.